Hello, my name is Darius Smith, and my presentation today is going to be on the Hurier model and how it relates to interpersonal friendships. I want to start out my presentation with talking about the three relationships you spend the most time with, and that's going to be your coworkers, your friends, and your family. I think out of all three of these, your friends are the most important interpersonal relationship because you get to choose your friends unlike the other two. I think this allows you to become closer with them, but it also means it's a more volatile relationship. This means you have to work on maintaining friendships, and this can be challenging at times, but I think one way to overcome this is to become an effective listener. In our textbook, the Hurier model by Judy Brownell is an acronym for hearing, understanding, remembering, interpreting, evaluating, and responding. Now, this guideline I use in my own life because it sets up very easy to follow steps, and so you don't get caught up when you're listening. One of the benefits of this, again, is that it's easy to understand, but also just overall, if you're an effective listener, more people are going to come up to and talk to you, and you're going to be able to relate more stuff to your own life. And I think this is a challenge with a lot of people, because being an effective listener is hard at sometimes, and I think one of the most common challenges is this not being able to relate it to your own life. I know with me personally, when friends come up to me, if what they're explaining to me has never happened to me, then it's hard to understand their point of view. An example of this would be if my friend came up to me and was talking about the challenges he's having with his family. Since my family has always been around and very loving, it's hard for me to give my full attention because without these shared experiences. I believe this is because humans are naturally pretty selfish animals, and not being able to relate it back to yourself gets rid of some of this understanding. I think this also comes down to the difference between empathy and sympathy for a lot of us, because we don't know the difference. And this difference is discussed in the textbook by a family therapist named Michael Nichols. He discusses empathy as feeling with somebody or understanding, while sympathy is feeling for somebody or like feeling bad for someone. An example of this would be if my friend came up to me and said he just failed a test. If I was sympathetic, I would say, man, that sucks for you. Hopefully you do well in the next one. Versus if I was empathetic, I would be like, yeah, I know how much you studied. If I was in your same position, I would feel bad. Hopefully everything goes well next time. And even though this is a small difference, this perspective talking aspect of it brings me into his shoes and helps me relate more to what's happening. And also a way to improve on this is using this Hurier model that I've been talking about. The point of this model and the point of effective listening in general is to come up with an appropriate response to what you are hearing. And one of the most important things when listening, I think, is the I in the Hurier model, which is interpreting, or how I like to think about it and how the textbook mentions it is dual processing. This is if I ask my friend, how are you doing today? And he responds, I'm fine. Taking the words at face value and not interpreting them, I would say, oh, he's doing all right today. But if I were to interpret them or follow the method, I could see that their tone of voice was not matching this, and knowing the background of that his girlfriend may have just broken up with him, I can see that this is no longer the case and that he's just saying this so he doesn't have to talk about it. This is also backed up by an article by Yang Rung Chang called Nonverbal Communication in Friends. She talks about how human connection is split up into two levels: what is being said and how the words are said. This is very important because a lot of what we are saying is not just our words. It can come from our body language, our background of what's happened to us, and also how things are said. Now that we know ways to improve on our effective listening, why is this important? Being an effective listener is important because people are going to want to talk to you if you are an effective listener. That means friends are more likely to come up to you and tell you stuff. They're going to want to hang out with you, and this will help maintain your friendships in the long run. I know an example in my life is if I had one of my friends in high school who was not a good listener. Every time I tried to talk to him about something, he would talk about his own life and wouldn't ever really listen to me. And we've drifted apart because I could never come up and talk to him about that. Now, a friend I met in college named Jason, we understand each other and we listen to each other effectively all the time. And because of this, we've grown closer, and he is now my roommate, and we are best friends. Now that we've talked about the challenges and also the solutions, it shows how important, now we know the steps to take to become an effective listener and that we can use to maintain these adult relationships. Using these strategies will bring us closer, but it will not reach us to an end line, because there is no end line when listening. It's all about being better over time for your friends and also for yourself. And that's what's important. Thank you.